Welcome to What Was He Thinking? My name is A.B. Bracewell. Today I'm going to be your personal tour guide through a man's psyche. Take this journey as we explore why a man thinks the way he thinks, why a man acts the way he acts, and why a man feels the way he feels. No questions off limits, and no topics too hard. By the end of the show, you'll have a better insight and a better understanding of who we are as men. Welcome to another episode of What Was He Thinking? I'm A.B. Bracewell, your host. Welcome back for part 2 of the conversation that we was having. As you can see, we have a new special guest, young lady that we've added, Miss Shatara. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, guys. How are you?
How you doing, Shatara?
Doing well.
Okay, so Shatara is here to put us on the hot seat. She was in the backstage listening to our conversation. I know Shatara has a lot of questions, very opinionated on this topic. So, first, Shatara, just tell us what are your thoughts? What do you think about the conversation that you heard? And then you just take it from there. This is your show right now.
Oh, well, good. I like that. Most of you guys had to learn about intimacy and having sex, on your own. It explains a lot in how you guys pursue us and handle yourselves when it comes down to having sex. And that's why we have a lot of difficulties in dealing with you guys or getting vulnerable to a certain extent because you guys never learned how to. I'm not saying you guys don't know, but I'm just saying in the beginning stages, you guys never really learned the intimacy. You only learned to pleasure yourself or to get it, like you guys say, get as many women as you can just for the fun and games of it all. So if I was to go into my first question, it would be, what does intimacy mean to you in and outside of the bedroom?
As far as intimacy, it really means getting to know someone. I always hear this saying where it says intimacy, where you really seeing like the soul, the spirit, of another person. Just building that closeness. Intimacy can be developed in all different types of ways. There's sexual intimacy, but then there's intimacy just on the friendship level where I feel free and I feel trusting enough where I can open myself up and be vulnerable and be the person that I really am. I think that's probably the ultimate level of intimacy for me, is when I can be who I am and don't have to worry about judgment. Don't have to worry about being someone that I'm not, in order to be accepted. And it's a two-way street. I feel the same way about the person that I'm with.
Yeah, I was gonna say the exact same thing. AB took the words out of my mouth. Intimacy to me is really about, being able to open up, have a person be open with me. There's a no judgment zone. I don't have any walls up or barriers where I'm holding anything back, but I'm giving myself to a person. They're giving themselves to me. We're able to connect on levels, whether it's through intellect, through our conversation, just a real genuine connection without any fear of being vulnerable with each other. I found that when I was able to let my walls down, and a person, which then supported the person I was seeing or dating, letting their walls down, and we're just able to share parts of ourselves judgment free. It's actually as fulfilling as sex is.
For me, intimacy is important in the bedroom and outside of the bedroom. Of course, outside that intimacy outside of the bedroom will lead into a better intimacy to me in the bedroom. Getting to know that person, making that person feel comfortable at all times, letting them know that they can be themselves, they can express themselves in any way, shape, or form that they need to, letting them know that, if you're going through something, you can tell me that. If you need help with something, you can tell me that. Whatever issues you're having, you can tell me that. At the same time, still being able to have fun with you, still being able to laugh with you, still being able to make you feel happy and feel comfortable in your own skin when you're with me. You know what I mean? Like there's places where we can't be ourselves. Work, certain social situations, we can't really be ourselves. So you want to have that place where you can be you fully, like no problems or anything like that. So it like being it is very, very, very important. um i I've I have been with a few ladies in my life up until now, and I'm noticing that a lot of them have this self-esteem thing where they don't want to take pictures. Oh, I'm not taking no pictures. Oh, I'm not wearing that because I don't look good. And society plays a big role into that. With the things that are sexualized and broadcast and spread throughout social media, news, TV, radio, everything. Um, and a lot of women don't feel comfortable with themselves when they're out, and that can affect their relationship with us, and we don't feel comfortable with ourselves, and it affect our relationships with them as well. So being able to be me, like with no qualms, and being able to make her feel comfortable enough to be herself is extremely important to me, because if you miserable and I'm saying what's wrong and you like nothing, that ain't helping anything. You know what I mean? Like
Do you all see it as a chore in dealing with us with our self-esteem issues when it comes down to just dating and or sexual intercourse, the intimacy?
I'm gonna be 100% honest. I love black women. To every black woman watching, you're gorgeous, you're sexy, all of that, all of that. Like, know that first. I understand that black women like to get dressed up for themselves. I understand that black women like to do things that make them feel good. Um, and I'm like, whatever makes you feel good, do it. I don't care what it is. Whatever makes you feel better about yourself, do it. I'm not like, I don't just like, I'm one of those guys where I feel like if you look good without your makeup, you gonna look amazing with lip gloss, with a little eyeliner, with you getting your hair done, everything like that. I do think it can be taxing trying to convince a woman that she's gorgeous. Um, I know, and I don't know about these guys, but I have a girlfriend. I tell her all the time she's gorgeous, just to tell her. You know what I mean? And it's not like, you know what I mean? Like, I want her to understand it, because she's one of those, oh, I ain't taking no pictures. Oh, I don't want to wear that. And I understand what she's saying and why she's saying it, but I want her to know how I feel. And I'm like, babe, I don't know what you see, but this what I see. Like, you bad, you sexy, you this, you that. Just to let her know, like, just to make her smile, just to make her say, to herself, my baby really love me. My baby really likes the way I look. That's the main thing that I want her to see. Um, it's not always easy. You know what I mean? We Perfect example. An example is we had went somewhere, and she had wore a dress, and then we went on a vacation. Now I like the dress. I'm like, man, you look good in this dress. You need to, like, you got to wear this dress again. So we go on a vacation after the event, and I'm like, did you bring the dress, baby? You got that dress? And she like, oh, nah, I can't wear that dress again. I already wore. I'm like, what you mean? Why not? And she like, no, the people gonna see it, and then they don't know I wore it twice. And I'm like, so, like, I don't care.
Let's see what Ed had to say on that question.
Let's dispel this myth out of the gate. Everybody has some kind of self-esteem issues.
Facts.
Now, some of us mask it better than others. And so the response that I'm going to give is going to be for both the male and the female in the relationship. I look at a duality. One of the things that I've become more aware of, especially in the current relationship that I'm in, is that my validation is important, right? But the flip side of that is the self-esteem issues that I have, the self-esteem issues that my partner have. I feel like there's a balance. We have to do our own work around those internal issues, which is why AB and I talked about, that's why one of the reasons why I went to therapy, to deal with all of the internal stuff on the inside of me, right? Because it's a heavy burden to place on somebody to expect them to fix all the inner workings of you with their words. And sometimes when a person expects somebody to do that, what ends up happening is it places the person in a place where they have to do so much work to even have you at a place where let me just put it like this. I definitely want to build my partner up, but your self-esteem, remember, it's self-esteem. It's how you look at yourself, how you feel about yourself. And so in the same manner that I need to do my own internal work about myself, I think it's important for my partner to do the same. Otherwise, you expect somebody to come in a relationship to fix you and or make you whole. And that's a very unbalanced relationship from the start. I've been in relationships like that, and it was very taxing on the relationship because there was never enough. You look beautiful. There was never enough. You look good, right? For it to be internalized if you struggle with feeling that way about yourself. So I feel like it's important for every individual to do that work on themselves so that by the time they get in a relationship, there's not a need from validation to confirm who you are. It's only words of affirmation to celebrate that which you are, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. A lot of times we do have those little self-esteem issues. We're only wanting to have the intercourse in the dark. You don't want your stretch marks or pimples and stuff to show. So, yeah, it can be those little things, like we said, that it can be taxing. That's why I said, do you see it as a chore? So, yes, we definitely have to start doing some self-evaluating and improving so that you can focus more so on the relationship than trying to build someone up. How do you feel about this, AB?
I would say this: confidence is probably one of the most sexiest things a person can have. And you believing that you look good, that you believing that you're sexy, even if I don't think that you are. I think that's one of the most attractive things that a woman can bring when it comes to herself physically. So kind of like what Ed was saying, that's a lot of self-work. And if my compliments and my attempts to validate and assure her that she's beautiful, really doesn't make any headway, then I realize that's something within her that she has to work on. And I can try to encourage her to do that. But I would be lying to say if it's not a chore, and I'll be lying if I say it doesn't. If it wouldn't make her a little bit less unattractive, if she constantly feels that she's unattractive and she's putting herself down, and not even, it wouldn't make her less unattractive physically, but as personality wise or characteristics, that'll take away from her a little bit.
That makes sense. I know it could probably be exhausting as well, but a lot of women walk in with that confidence. You look good. You done sat and got dressed for an hour and then some. So when you walk in, you all only gonna see that there's a self-esteem issue once we got y'all. You know what I mean? Not gonna catch it in the beginning. Just to put that out there. For the most part, that was all of my questions as far as with the intimacy. If I was to have one more question, I would say, do you guys view sex differently in the past than what you view now? Like for me as a woman, when you're in your 20s, if it wasn't good, there was no more conversation to be had. Now when you're older, you'll tend to work with a person a little bit more, but like, I guess he got good conversation, you know, or
Is that right?
I like
Is that
I'm just saying, like, we vibe a little bit more. He got something he can bring to the table. I guess, you know, we can make it work, but in your 20s, it was like a no, sir, I can't, you know, it's not worth it anymore. So now with you being older, do you tend to give women more of a pass if they're not what you expect once you get to that point?
But as for me,
Sexual
as for
intercourse.
as for me, I like I said in another episode, is that growing up, I was introduced to sex through porn. So my expectations, my thoughts of what I thought it was supposed to be was that. So, you know, all the nastiest, freakiest, craziest stuff that they do on the movies is what I expected and wanted in the bedroom. And if somebody wasn't doing those things, I'll call it boring, or I said the sex was corny, or it was whack, and you know, I go looking for someone else because that's what I thought it was. As I got older and more mature and started to realize, you know, those women on the screen, they're actors. You know, can't nobody go that long. Ain't nobody allowing you to do those type of things that they do in those movies. I had to, I had to, I had to accept reality. I mean,
right?
and I had to realize that I'm not those dudes either. You know, I'm not bringing all the stuff that them guys bring in, and I'm not going for 2 hours either. So just to wrap it up, so before I say too much, is that yeah, as I get older, I become more in touch with reality, and my expectations and what somebody brings to the bedroom is more real. And so yes, I can definitely accept it, that someone isn't reaching those expectations, because I know I don't reach those expectations. And to be honest, as I get older, like I'm not as sexually charged as I used to be, because I've put so much, I got so many other things going on in my life that my mind is not focused on sex like when I was in my 20s or my early 30s. So yeah, it's definitely changed as I've matured. The way I look at sex, the way I behave, the way I think, all the way around, it has changed.
If I must say, just quickly and briefly, I think, because I know a lot of people say, oh, what's in the porn stars and watching those movies is not realistic. I think that women, and even having this conversation with a group of women, it depends on the level of comfort and your level of intimacy outside the bedroom is what she's willing to do inside the bedroom.
Come on now, sister.
So throw that out there. So
Okay, well,
if you're making
I stand corrected. I stand corrected.
If you taking care of things and she don't have to worry about certain things and it's intimacy on the outside of the bedroom, she will make you feel like one of those porn movies. I just wanted to throw that out there because you said that's unrealistic. No, sir, it isn't. Just a lot of times it takes on the comfort of the woman. Because like you said, you can have a woman that has self-esteem issues, but because you make her feel so sexy, because you make her feel alive, because the intimacy is inside and outside the bedroom, because she don't have to have conversations on trivial things like finances and all those types of things, she might make you feel like you was in the whole porn movie. I just wanted to throw that out there.
All right.
Okay.
Duly
Hey,
noted.
I appreciate that.
Wap, you want to answer that question?
Sure. Well, you know, I think for all of us, all four of us, you know, when you younger, sex is more about the physical act. You know, most people don't really know what we're doing. We're younger, just trying to get ours. Then we start, you know, learn a little bit more as we get older and everything. Now, you know, it's about, like I think once you get in a real relationship and y'all really start having sex, you're looking like the experience is different as opposed to when you was younger and you was just messing around. You know, when you relationship, for me, when you're in a relationship, sex is different than when you're not in a relationship, even at this age. But when I was younger, it was just, you know, I'm just go get mine and go about my business. Now, first of all, I'm a Scorpio, so you know I do things a little different. But I'll say I like to be invited back. So when I'm not in a relationship, I like to be invited back. I'll just leave it there. I'm not gonna get too detailed because you know I don't know who watching. In a relationship, I like to make sure that my partner is pleased, and I'm gonna stop there. So in a relationship, I think sex is a little more intense. It's a little more meaning to it. It's a deeper connection, and there, you know, not to get too deep, but you know, it's more of a connection. It means a little bit more. Outside a relationship, you know, you trying to, like Adama said, you trying to perform like, you know, what you saw so they can call you again, like, hey, what you doing, you know, blah blah blah, or so you can call them, you know, 2 a.m. like, hey girl, what you doing, and she like, he told me up last time, I'm going to go see him. So you know what I mean, it could kind of be that kind of situation, in my experience. But yeah, I think, you know, when you're younger, it's more the physical act, and when you're single, it's more the physical act. When you're in a relationship, I think it's a little more connection oriented than just the physical act. So
But most people probably, that's why I was asking, would you even enter into the relationship if it's subpar? If it's not what you
um
expect?
that depends. If if I'm in a relationship with somebody, we get along, everything is fine. Um and the sex is subpar and we talk about it, and my mate is willing to, you know, try some different things or do, you know what I mean, whatever it is to spice it up or make it better or whatever, I got a winner. I'm cool. But if it's somebody that's like, I don't know what she's talking about, my last boyfriend said I'm fine, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, you have a great day. It was nice meeting you. I'ma holla at you. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, for guys, I don't think ladies really understand what sex means for guys, and I don't think guys really understand what sex means for ladies, and that's a big clash that we have. Um, for a lot of guys, having sex with a woman in a relationship, he wants to express physically how much he loves that mate or how much he cares for that mate. So, you know, we do what we do. Um, for women, it's more of an emotional connection. I'm like, I know it's more of an emotional connection for women than it is for men, even when they're not in a relationship. And what I'm just going from my experience. I don't, because I see you about to jump through the screen on me.
Correction again.
Am I right?
I'm gonna be honest with you, and I think we've gotten a little more masculine than maybe we should be. But I guess
Probably.
some of
I
us gotten
apologize.
into that if you can't beat them, join them type situation. And I'm not gonna go too far deep because, like you say, you never know who's gonna watch it. But if you can't beat them, join them. And
Mhm.
with that being said, a lot of times the attachment doesn't come with the man until you actually in a relationship or fell in love. So a lot of times, and what's the proper way of wording it? A lot of times, you know, it be more so of the feeling. So if you're good at what it is that you do, you
Mhm.
know, a lot of times you guys may think, you know, oh, she's so strong and all that type of stuff. When in reality, we just enjoy the fact that you're good at what you do. It doesn't mean that you mean anything more to us than you think you do.
I agree. I agree.
We don't be all
I,
that emotionally attached because you have a couple of bad days and you don't live up to, you know, what we expect,
right.
then
Right.
you know, your quality goes down.
Hey,
Hey,
And
that level
sometimes
of
it be like that.
we appreciate that.
Right. Right. I think it's important to be able to discuss when it starts falling off with your mate. You know what I mean?
You guys have options. Y'all have options, and we know that it's like 10 women to one man now, you know? So a lot of us, until we feel like the relationship is really going towards that path and you're really serious and you're really trying to settle down,
Mhm.
for especially women who got their stuff together, you tend not to get so excited about the relationship or the sex until you reach a certain point. So yeah, it's good. Yeah, he's great. Yeah, he can do this. But let's see how he goes for the long run. You know?
And I think one of the things that's happened is you guys have grown to be that way based on your result of your interactions. So many times you go in with these high expectations, hoping it's going to be one thing, only to get disappointed. It's a natural adjustment to say, you know what? Well, let me fall back a little bit until I see what it's really going to be. And so, what you said makes total sense. I want to do my my best to answer that question. So I can't believe I'm about to say what I'm about to say. I never thought this would be the case. But, now sex is different for me because it's like if I don't have like a mental or emotional connection, I'm not even really interested no more.
Right.
That was never the case. I'm like,
Now
man,
you want
what's
the
going on with me? What happened?
Right.
When did it happen?
Oh man.
Because you know what? You know you got to talk to her after a while. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Right. And it goes back to remember I was talking about that moment of clarity. As soon as you have sex,
Mhm.
all that stuff you felt before.
I do that.
I'm looking for something on a deeper level now.
Mhm.
Right. I think I didn't did that enough times to where that's not desirable to me no more.
Mhm.
Right. If it's not, because I want to be able to respect you. I
Right.
want to see something in you beyond that. If that's all you have to offer, is that, then I'm not interested at this point in my life. I got way too much going on, too many things that consume my focus on a daily basis to even waste time communicating with somebody that doesn't stimulate me.
Mhm.
And so I'm gonna be frank with you. If all it is a physical stimulation, then I can take care of that myself. But what do you offer beyond that?
Right.
And I think I've gotten to that place because I value myself more now, to where I don't want to just engage in any type of situation that there's really nothing outside of that. And then to the second part of your question is if the sex is subpar, would I be willing to take it to the next level? My first thought is absolutely not.
No, she got a good conversation though. You're mentally stimulated.
Look, it needs to be some balance. We need both. But the biggest thing for me, and why I spoke to this, is willingness, because different people like different things, and so I'm of the mindset, and I always had this conversation with my partners. If you approach sex from a selfless standpoint, not just what I want to get out of it, if my desire is to please you, my whole desire is to please you, and your whole desire is to please me, then we're gonna have a win-win situation.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So that willingness to do things may be a little bit different. Hey, I like this, you like this, like this. If we both willing, then it can cover that ground.
Mhm.
And I think still, make for a good situation.
So there you have it. I want to thank you guys, Ed, Wab, lovely Shatara, Charles that was on earlier. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate your opinions and your thoughts. I guarantee that somebody's gonna listen to this later and really learn and glean from it. So I can't say thank you. I can't say thank you enough for being a part of it. So for everybody that's watched, this is What Was He Thinking? The Sexual Education of Black Men in America. Have a great night. Be blessed.